Hello, everybody. Welcome to what we are calling the Ice Dip. Normally, we do the Ice Bath podcast, but today we're doing a short, punchy video with the Intellect team to talk about what we will be doing come 2026. So I've got Wendy with us, who's runs our risk and compliance function, and Avi, who's head of investigations. And what we're going to do is just spend a couple of minutes talking about maybe some of the things that we've seen in the year we're leaving and what we're going to be doing in 2026. So, Wendy, I'm going to put you front and center first. You can talk about what your perspective is on the whole thing and what you're going to be concentrating on.
Well, good morning and happy end of 2025.
Indeed.
And here's hoping that 2026 is a far more interesting year.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, the Isle of Man obviously is focused, a lot of focus is on the MoneyVal, which is due to come this fall. We also have general elections, which is going to make things extremely interesting because you're going to be looking at the dynamics of people running for office and
Mm,
what their approach is going to be to understand what MoneyVal is all about and how they can perhaps add some contributions to that. I went to the financial crimes conference a few months back, and a lot of it was front and center MoneyVal as well as looking at e-gaming,
hmm
which seems to have more than its share of individuals and visibility lately. We've had several more companies sanctioned. We've had people that have turned in their licenses and moved to different jurisdictions. I think Malta seems to be taking up the slack these days.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of a full circle look at, MoneyVal and e-gaming on the island. And, you know, certainly it was a big player at one point and now seems to be dwindling and going elsewhere. And, whether or not that's a sector that the island wants to continue to work on, or whether they're looking beyond that, it's going to be an interesting year for sure on the island.
Mm. So, what challenges are there out there for any business that's regulated, registered for anti-money laundering?
Well, I think now it's just, heightened due diligence,
Mm,
making sure that you actually have done everything and maybe a little bit more, have adequate controls in place, and just make sure that everybody is respecting the processes and, not afraid to raise their hand and say, I don't think this passes the sniff test. Perhaps we need to take another look at this, whether it be internal or whether it be from a regulatory perspective.
mm.
Because, I mean, there's a fine line between, you know, having a stable and robust business sector and a fine line that, you've got criminality coming in. I
Yeah.
mean, fortunately, we haven't had huge problems, touch wood,
Yeah.
but of course that can all be vanished in a heartbeat if something else comes to light. And it's always a worry for a small community. I mean, we
Yeah.
are only 85,000 people,
Yeah.
and we just have to be always on the lookout for things that are coming past other jurisdictions on the horizon so that we
Yeah.
don't fall into a trap of winding up with all the bad actors. We
Yeah.
don't need another Panama Papers.
No,
Uh,
exactly that.
I
No.
know the Financial Times I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we were prominently featured in one of their exposés, not in a very positive light. So it,
Mm.
it gives you reason to reflect and to make sure that everything is as it should be.
Yeah. And I mean, how long have you lived on the Isle of Man now?
A little over 10 years now.
Yeah. And it's changed in, I mean, I lived there for 8 years and it's certainly changed in that time. And it's interesting because the most recent version of, or most recent episode rather, of Ice Bath, I was talking to Colin Solomon,
Mhm.
who works in Jersey and understands Jersey. And I think the thing that comes across is the uniqueness of jurisdictions and how different they can be. And the fact that you live there and offer the services through Intellect is really helpful, I think, for any business over there.
Yeah, I think having native intelligence is
Yeah,
always extremely helpful.
Ground
And
truth.
and if you don't have native intelligence, you miss things because there's an awful lot of communication that isn't in the mainstream,
Mm,
but
yeah,
you hear things through other meetings, friends of friends,
yeah,
or just generally what's happening in the community. So, um, it's a good and bad thing.
yeah.
You have to be very careful the person that you're talking to and how you validate that information.
Mm,
There's really no replacement for having that native
no,
income coming your way.
absolutely. Boots on the ground stuff.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Excellent. And thank you for that. Thanks for that perspective. Anybody sort of listening who wants to talk to Wendy, she is on the Alaman and easily sort of contactable. So we're going to Ivy now, who is there. Bags of experience, knowledge in the world of investigations, analysis, intelligence, etc. So I suppose same question really, Avi. I mean, what's happened this year? What do you see changing next year? What are you going to be up to? What are you going to be doing for with working with Intellect, etc.
Thanks, Colin. Well, I think that 2025 was much the same as the years before it. I don't think too many things have happened. Again, this is my
Yeah,
humble opinion in the world of due diligence and onboarding and KYC.
yeah,
Of course, AI has become a big factor now, both on both sides.
yeah,
So, it's
for
used
sure.
by both the criminals and regulated entities and trying to prevent criminal activity. But I think in general, and again, this is my own opinion, is that the intelligence side of onboarding and KYC is still lacking,
Mm,
and lacking dramatically because I think what we're doing now is that the KYC and onboarding is so rigid,
mm,
such a rigid process that we I think we're missing the predictive angle of onboarding,
mm.
and I'm talking specifically about the building blocks of a criminal activity or criminal network,
Yeah,
which is the personal account.
yeah,
Um, I think we're missing a lot by not using more intelligence-led uh, um, processes and tools, and being able not only to look at a client, a potential client at this moment, but rather look at have a predictive look at what they might do in the future.
yeah.
Because a low risk client at the time of onboarding doesn't mean that they're a low risk
No, not
client.
at all. No, exactly.
And the high risk client at onboarding doesn't mean that they're a high risk client in the
No,
future.
yeah,
So I think we have to move away from these very rigid formats and find ways to use intelligence
yeah.
in predicting what a client might do in the future.
Mm,
There are all kinds of ideas, and we can talk about those in the new year. But I
yeah,
think that's where things should go.
yeah.
With all due respect to AI and tools, um, another thing that we're missing
Mm,
is the human factor, which is expertise
yeah,
uh, you know experience in the fields of predicting,
yeah, yeah,
not looking at the historical data. Anyway,
yeah.
so that's where I think I'm going to try and focus in the new
No,
year.
that's really interesting. And I think it speaks to your background as well, doesn't it? Because you're talking there about analyzing patterns, typologies, trends, which better inform looking forward rather than backwards. Because looking backwards is okay.
Yeah.
That'll inform you, but sometimes things change so rapidly. You mentioned AI, for example. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I think there's certain things we can do to make that happen as well. So two really interesting perspectives from two of the team. I'm not going to say very much other than we have some exciting software that we hope to launch in the middle of January that's going to make the whole process of onboarding and due diligence much, much easier. We've got Investigation Engine. This is going to be an upgrade to that system. So watch this space. I will be approaching a number of people to do some testing. So there'll be selected professionals that we are aware of who we think will benefit from testing it and help us. But I really think we've got something special here and it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm looking forward to the new year and that. Okay, that's a bit of a, I suppose call that a wrap from Intellect, can't we? I'm gonna, I suppose we're gonna wish everybody a happy New Year. It's nearly upon us, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Happy and peaceful and boring
A
2026.
compliant New Year.